I'm really personally excited about this next session because this is a topic we haven't discussed a lot in the past couple days, and it's a really important one, and that's gamification for social good and how we can truly change the world with this. So I'd like to present Beth Shiroishi from AT&T. Please give her a warm welcome.
All right, so I'm gonna dance a little while we get this going with the slides. So when Gabe called and asked us to come speak at the Gamification Summit, I will admit that I was simultaneously terrified and intrigued. I'm not going to pretend like I can teach you all anything about the mechanics of gamification and all of what you already know. So we struck a deal that I wouldn't try to do that. I would come and talk from a perspective of what we were trying to do with our portfolio around sustainability or corporate social responsibility, and really specifically around what does it mean for education in this country. At AT&T, we have a singular focus on education because we view it as really one of the top social issues for our company and for the country, really. And so what we like to say is aspire to an America where every student graduates high school equipped with the knowledge and skills to power the nation's workforce. And really, if you think of it from a company perspective, we have 260,000 employees, and as we look out 20 years, we have a serious concern about where are we going to get high-quality, diverse workers who know how to critically think and have the science and technology skills that we need. But it's beyond just a talent pipeline issue for us. It's also about the economic stability of the country, and what does it mean if we don't have a stable economy where we have people who can obviously buy the products and services. So about 4 years ago, we really went headfirst into this issue. And then just this last March, we recommitted to it with another $250 million investment over 5 years. And it's really about driving innovation in education by investing locally in programs that we know work, connecting our own employees as well as our customers. And the new piece of this for us, and why I'm here today, was really this notion of how can we seek exponential change in education. So being a communications company, we know a lot about disruptive technologies and what that does for the business models. If you think back, and this is nothing that you all don't already know, if you think back just 10 years ago, the ecosystem of the e-commerce environment was nowhere near what it is now. And all of that was fueled by the disruptive technology of the mobile internet and what that's bringing about. And so as we did that, we thought, well, what can we do? What partnerships can we seek to help really figure out how we bring disruptive change to education? And so two of the ways that we're doing that, and GameDesk is what I'm going to specifically talk about today, through our own innovation centers. So AT&T just recently opened our Foundry innovation centers, which was really about speeding the ecosystem of development in internet technologies and the backbone that we provide as a network provider. And so now what we've done is taken that and opened those ecosystems to bring in developers to really think about how can we create apps that really do change educational outcomes. So we had our first hackathon actually 2 weeks ago in Palo Alto, where we had over 200 developers, teachers, and students all coming together to think about what technology could exist in the classroom to really help keep students in school. And then GameDesk is one of our latest announcements, and this is really a collaboration about how can we think about taking those high-quality digital games and learning technologies and making them available nationwide. And so I'm actually going to show you a video because it does a better job than I can of explaining it. Do that.
We're serious about learning. There's something really wonderful about how these new technologies and games can engage youth. And we really want to see how that wonder can lead to serious learning. We do this by building technology and games that kids really enjoy. We've created a culture that allows teachers to work with students in ways that they never thought they could before.
The GameDesk class allows us to create the game, not just, hey, I did a game and it's cool, it's I was able to create a game that is cool.
Anytime you give students an opportunity to interact with technology, you can't help but to see learning increase.
We look at other fantastic work that's out there on the iPad, on the PC, new technologies that can be used in the classroom, and we help teachers use them effectively as tools for learning.
We've found a way to engage our students cognitively, and we've seen very encouraging results.
So I wanted to make my grasshopper jump naturally. By using the quadratic formula, I can determine the vertex and which angle it's jumping to.
What might that represent?
The number of atoms to make the molecule.
Okay.
The question is, how do we do all this? Who are we? We are a group of scientists, artists, developers, programmers, thinkers that all come together to transform these technologies into real tools for learning.
Working with GameDesk is great. It's an exciting time because we're trying to use the most modern tools to teach fundamental ideas in science.
I eventually learned some new stuff about math, like, oh, this is cool.
I never thought that I could make a video game. Thanks to MathMaker, it's very easy.
What I love about GameDesk is they make games that make learning fun.
Up until now, we've only been able to support schools locally. With this new AT&T collaboration, we're going to change that. So we are going to create a new learning hub, a living learning laboratory, where research, development, and assessment of the most promising practices and products can be experienced every day from all around the local community. We're going to then capture what's happening at this hub and take it out even further to a new national portal for teachers, students, and parents that will comprise the best of the work we develop and curate from around the world. All tested and tried in the hub. We're just beginning.
Let's go. Fire it up. Turn it on. Plug it in. Push the buttons.
And so when we made this decision that we really wanted to figure out what is it that could bring exponential change, GameDesk was a natural partner for us because they have taken they have proven what they've done in the classroom. And you saw some of the charts there, and they are really hitting the target demographic that we care about. Those kids that are really in underserved communities that are probably at risk of dropping out if something doesn't change their lives. And the interesting thing to me is, these are kids who are living in a world where high quality entertainment is everywhere that they are except in the classroom. They live in a world where they have high quality movies and entertainment in their home, and then they go into a classroom and they don't have any of that. And what GameDesk has done is to take that same quality, and I think that's really the pivotal piece from where I stand. It's not about taking education and applying gamification. It's about taking high quality entertainment and applying standards of education. And so that's really, I have 2 kids myself, and I joke that it's not a joke, I negotiate with them how long they have to play the games I want them to play and how long they get to play the games they want to play. And I think that's the fundamental paradigm shift that we need to change. We need to take the best and brightest minds who know about what makes gamification and games that are successful and figure out how do we then take the educational standards and the true quality of what we need our kids to be learning in this country and build that in. The other thing that's really I think GameDesk has their arms around is the notion of embedded assessment in the environment of the game. So if you really think about it, why do we need to test kids if we build what they're learning to not allow them to move to the next level until they've achieved it? So one of the games that you saw in the very beginning was Aero, which is a game that teaches aerodynamics, and it does it by you building a bird. So the student actually has to build their bird and goes through the whole process of doing that, and then at the end they either fly or they don't fly, and they learn the vectors and all of the pieces that go with that. So I think that's really the piece that for us as AT&T opens up that door of this is really something that could fundamentally change how people access education and what they're experiencing. And the online hub that will be available will also have elements. I sat through and heard the Stack Exchange conversation, and we'll have those same elements of providing status and feedback. So not only will the games be available for download and use in the classroom, but teachers will then upload how they use it with a lesson plan, a video, or whatever discussion board allows for that facilitation, and then others will be able to rate that content as to the usefulness to them. So it really takes the interaction from a one-way to a two-way, not only in pushing out the content, but then in allowing others to collaborate with how to make and use that in the classroom, or if it's not being used in a classroom, at home, even in the home environment. And so as AT&T, again, our interest is, how can we really turn around the trajectory of where we're at in this country? It's really staggering when you step back and think about the statistics. 1 in 4 students right now does not graduate with their class. And that's about 1 million students that we lose every year. And the proportions in that dropout crisis and epidemic go only higher when you reach into low income and with minority backgrounds from a diversity and ethnicity perspective. You get into rates of 50 to 60%. And as a company who wants to hire those good workers for the future, that's obviously a very compelling concern for us. So that's a little bit about what we've done with GameDesk. Again, I think for us, the notion was not that we were seeking a solution that was specific around gaming. It was seeing an opportunity that happened to be gaming that was working and was proven and metrics-based. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you all have about what we've done and where we see it going, but that's a little bit of our perspective about how we see a potential solution for education in this area.
Thank you. Anyone have questions? Great, a couple over here.
Is GameDesk being rolled out strictly in an institutional environment, or are you going to go sort of B2C with it, directly to consumers?
No, it's directly to consumers. Right now they operate in classrooms collaborating with teachers, and what we will be doing is 2 things with them. One is to create a living laboratory that is both a classroom environment and a research environment. So part of the struggle they have now is the travel time between classrooms for their own researchers and programmers. And so it brings teachers, students, and their researchers to co-locate in the same building so that they can be building games and testing them in the same location, and that'll be a physical hub here in LA, and then, or a little bit south, I guess, in LA. And then the portal will be open. It will be open on an online portal, so it'll be accessible to anyone who has access to the internet.
So schools aren't targeted particularly because of a demographic. It's a hub in LA, and then any other school could access it as long as they have an internet connection?
Right. So right now, GameDesk does target schools where there are higher factors that are putting those students at risk of dropping out. And that's honestly what we liked about it. They have proven their success in 7 schools that are some of the toughest school environments in the inner city. So that is where they know it works, but it will be available to everyone.
Does the curriculum, is it just focused on traditional classroom subjects, or are there plans to expand it, say, into like financial literacy or health, something like that, to expand kids' knowledge in those areas?
Yes, so right now most of the games they have developed themselves are focused on math and science. The one exception is, and you saw a little bit of it, a game called Dojo, which is actually about emotional control. One of the things that they learned really quickly in the classroom is the teacher said, this is all really great, but our students can't learn anything because they don't know how to manage their anger. And so they built Dojo, which uses a pulse and temperature sensors, and the whole game is navigating your way through tense situations, and the only way you win is by remaining calm. And so that's the one game they've built that is not math or science, but they are expanding out and will have other curated content that's outside of that as well.
Is there any kind of tie-in with scholarship or further educational programs yet or planned?
Under our $250 million commitment, we have a lot of different programs. So we fund all kinds of different things, all very metrics-based. That's part of what we look for. But we also look for things that are metrics-based and proven in small scale that we can then take to large scale. So we do have some scholarship programs, and we do have some other things around that.
Anyone else have any questions? No? Great. Well, thank you, Beth, so much.
You.
Very inspiring.